Hello, my wonderful wolf pack, and welcome to the newest episode of Dawnbringer SMP lore. Now, I bet this place is very familiar to you, being Emunah's house. You'll see why I'm here once I get into this. But as for this video, yes, it's another exclusive YouTube video with me reading over the scripts, but with this one in particular, I will say there is a bit of content warning for, trauma and survivor's guilt and depressive thoughts. So, if you aren't comfortable with that, just go to the end, and at the end, I will basically offer a summary of what occurred so you aren't lost. But for those who can stomach things like that, or if you're in a good enough mind state to handle things like that, I hope you enjoy, I guess, and let's get right into it. The growling is so loud. They keep running, but it never gets any quieter. They can also hear shouting in front of them and behind them. Her parents are scared, but she doesn't understand why. Then they stop. Shadows of wolves growing larger and larger until she hears screaming and they envelop her parents. They start to chase her and she cries for help, but no one comes. Soon Cassiopeia comes into view and runs alongside her, but the shadows only end up taking her too. Humanoid figures come into her view, but they only end up chasing her too. She runs and runs and runs until she wakes with a start, breathing heavily, a slight growl coming through and tears pouring down her cheeks. She curls in on herself and cries for a while. I couldn't save them. I'm so weak. I just froze there. I let them die. What kind of daughter lets their parents die? She cries even harder. I'm the worst kind of child. How does Golden even trust me? She continues to cry for a while. Then a thought occurs to her and she works to calm herself down. Once she's calm enough, she walks out and toward Emunah's territory. As she arrives, she looks around at all the wisps. She tries to see if any of them make any motion, indicating recognition, aside from when she was last here, but to no avail. She heads to the building containing some wisps, but no luck either. She starts to tear up again. Why did you think they would be here? They died ages away from here, you idiot! Why even intrude on Emunah's land in the middle of the night? Do you want her to think you're weird or suspicious? She makes her way outside of Emunah's old house. Nothing there either. She sits outside and hits her head, beating herself up over her decision even more. Emunah is actually heading toward her territory to go and check up on her flock, especially those in the sanctuary, when a couple of the little balls of flame suddenly appear and urge her on with frantic chirps and murmurs. The shepherd blinks and picks up her pace, using a ball of soul flame at the tip of her staff to light the way as she hurries through the night, her whiffs guiding her. What is Star doing out here in the middle of the night? Gods, if the Ice Queen did something, there will be hell to pay. She silently huffs and finally reaches her forest, taking a shortcut toward her old home. Star? Emunah calls, glowing blue eyes scanning the area for any sign of the werewolf, head tilting this way and that for any sound. She finally spots the distraught lichen near her mailbox, and she eases toward the other slowly. Star? What are you doing here? What's wrong? Her voice takes on a soft, humming note, the hint of a wisp lullaby underlying her words. It was a trick she often used to calm her flock. Star flinches, startled and embarrassed for being caught. Nothing. I'm fine. I didn't mean to bother you. I'll go. Star gets up and starts to walk away, trying to avoid opening herself up so much. The Harbinger gives her a disbelieving look. Uh-huh. Yeah, no. You crying your eyes out at this time of night is not nothing. Emunah nimbly steps into the other's path and levels her with a somewhat stern but no less concerned look. Are you hurt? She can't smell any blood or see any obvious injuries. Realizing that the Harbinger won't relent, she sighs. Then she realized her eyes must be red from the emotions of the night. She looks down. Fine, I'll tell you. I'm not hurt, at least physically. Mentally and emotionally? God, where do I even start? She gives a half-hearted laugh. I woke up from a nightmare involving my parents and Cass dying all over again. The parents' part has been going on for a while, but Cass is more of a recent addition. Not to blame you, but I think it did stem from that fake fight a bit ago. I came here to see if maybe... She looks at all the wisps around them. Maybe they would be here. But of course not. They died ages away from here. There's no way their spirits would make it here. She starts to tear up again and sits down. I just wish I could have saved them. They were right there in front of me. I could have done something, but I didn't. I let them die, and the same nearly happened with Cass. I'm no better now than I was back then. She cries even harder, tail wrapping around herself, and her ears pinned back. Emunah flinches as Star's shout pierces the air and reverberates off the thick oak trees. She takes a small half-step back for a moment, and takes a deep breath as she silently watches the werewolf break apart. Had she not thought such similar thoughts only recently? That all-consuming miasma of guilt, of not being able to be enough, do enough to be able to protect those dearest to her. After a minute of being frozen, the shepherd at last rouses herself to move and go sit by Star's side. Gingerly, Emunah reaches out with a clawed hand and lays it on her back, very lightly rubbing soothing circles and trying to offer what comfort she could as the other sobbed. There were no words for this. Not right now, at least. Star needed to cleanse this out a bit before Emunah would be able to talk with her. So for now she just hummed under her breath, the wisps in the area echoing the eerie melody, and waited for Star to calm. Feeling Emunah's comforting grasp, Star leans into it, continuing to cry. Eventually she starts to calm down and speak once more, voice raspy and breathing heavy. I don't blame you for that. I know you wouldn't hurt Cassie, but it still scared me. I still froze like I did with my parents. I know you said I would choose to fight more, but it seems so far that when a difficult or scary situation arises, all I can seem to do is freeze and let it happen. Just because I'm scared. I'm so weak. I don't know what the first thing about fighting. I've always been running. I've always had someone to protect me. My parents, Golden, and even the village guards for a time. But now I'm on my own and it's terrifying. I just want to see them again, one more time, to know if they're happy, and if they're proud of me. 'Cause right now, I doubt they would be proud. Their daughter can't even defend herself, let alone survive. She cries lightly, not as heavily as before, though tears fail to flow. There's a long period of silence, the humming cutting off though the lost souls continue it on. Emunah just continues to rub the werewolf's back as she silently mulls over the right words to say. She viciously stomps down on the flicker of guilt that wants to make a home in her chest. It was as if a doppelganger had appeared and was speaking thoughts she'd had in the past back at her, and it was unnerving. Gods, what would Ryan say? You're here, aren't you? She bluntly murmurs. You survived this long. You made it out alive. Exactly as your parents wished. They wanted you to survive, to live on. And you have. Emunah just decided to be honest in her own to-the-point fashion. Star had no use for fancy platitudes that would do nothing to solve the ache. You have your dog, that annoying fire chicken, and whoever else you make friends with. It's okay to grieve and mourn what you lost. Gods know I do at least once a week. She shoots Star a bitter little smile before sobering. You have me in your corner as well, I hope you know. Despite us differing heavily on certain opinions, I have grown fond of you. If I didn't care, I would simply ignore you. Emunah sighs deeply and glances up at the sky, watching the clouds roll in to cover the half moon. She's not sure what else to say and silently wishes she'd not inherited Mojave's anxiety. Star listens and clings on to every word like a lifeline. She takes a moment to calm her breathing before responding. Yeah, that's true, but if I want to keep Cass and Golden by my side, I need to know how to fight. I don't. I've always had someone protecting me. I've never had to fight on my own. I feel like I'm just a pup, trying to find my way in this huge world, but I don't know where to start. I am thankful that you're here and in my corner, but emotions do nothing to protect those I care for. I want to solve situations peacefully, but as you've shown me, that can't always be the case. So what do I even do? I'm lost without their guidance. They taught me how to live as a wolf, but never as a human. I know nothing about politics or anything that would help me with a situation like the Snow Queen. I'm just doing my best with the skills I have. But those skills can't keep people alive. So I freeze when I don't know what to do. I just miss them so much. What would they even say to me now? Knowing what kind of situation I'm in, I doubt they would be too happy, seeing as no one else is. Emunah blinks slowly as she listens to the whirlwind of words and thoughts. Well, what do you want to do? She questioned slowly, formulating her thoughts as she went on how to best help the other. You know that not everything can be solved peacefully, nor have all the knowledge and skills to counteract with aggressive tactics. So, what will you do to obtain the goals you seek? She removes her hand from Star's back and stares into her red eyes, head tilting. Star thinks for a moment, looking away. When she looks back, she has a bit more confidence in her eyes. I guess I'll train to grow stronger. Start slow with basic skills and work my way up from there. Gods know it won't be easy, but just like talking with a Snow Queen, I'm willing to give it my best effort. Star gives a half-hearted smile to Emunah, then looks down with a frown and sighs. It just feels like everything is happening so fast. I mean, I just got here, and already there's this huge threat that we need to handle, and I know nothing about how to do that. I just feel like there's no time for training. Everything got so complicated so quickly. Why can't things just be simple like they used to be? The Harbinger gave an encouraging nod as Star lists off her goals, and then gives a tired sigh. I can certainly understand that. Believe it or not, this has probably been the most peaceful things have been for a while. Emunah snorts and returns the grin with her own mood. There is actually plenty of time to train and prepare yourself, though. Golden is acting as if the queen is on our doorstep. No, she's not here yet, but she is stalking and getting a feel for her prey, which is just as dangerous. She casts a quick side eye toward the crown the other wore. You have time, Star. Don't try and take on the world's problems. There'll be time to find a solution to this mess. And if not, then we'll do all in our power to figure something out, even if it's unsavory. Emunah suddenly flinches and a shiver goes down her spine. A flash of a memory of a spectral hand grabbing her face and a voice screaming in her head. Star nods. Yeah, I'll try. Thanks, Emunah. Really. I needed someone to talk to about all this. While my pain isn't gone, it has lessened. At least for now. Time will tell how healing goes for me. Star gives a whole-hearted smile this time. It means the world to me that you were willing to be here just to listen to me. Normally I would do that for other people. Star rubs her neck in slight embarrassment for being on the receiving end instead. Sorry for bothering you so late at night with stuff like this. You probably have other priorities to get to, so I'll get out of your hair. And just know that if you ever need a friend to talk to listen to you, or just a shoulder to cry on, I'm here for you just the same as you were for me tonight. I'll see you around. Star smiles and walks down the path, headed home. No problem, Star. I've been where you are too many times to count. Don't let the grief and fear poison you like it did me. Emunah watches the lichen leave and presses her face into her hands with a soft groan, massaging her temples. That flash of memory had been rather unpleasant. With a shake of her head, she forced herself to her paws and headed away from her territory and back toward home. She needed to curl up with her husband after all that. That hit too close to home. Emunah and Star go their separate ways with much to think on. When Star gets home, she looks at the stars. I hope, if they can see me from wherever they are, they're proud of me. I miss them so much. She climbs the nearby jungle tree until she reaches the top and jumps onto her roof. She stares at the stars, and for the first time in a long time, she howls. The howl is deep and long, emotional in every sense, so much so that it brings tears to her eyes. Once the howl's done, she climbs down and heads back to bed, hugging Cassiopeia tight. I love you, pup. I hope you know that. And that's the end of the reading. For those of you who skipped ahead just because you couldn't stomach it, I fully understand. And as for the recap, well, Star woke up from a nightmare regarding her past. Not the same one as what was shown earlier in the series, a new one that had her parents and Cassiopeia disappear into shadows that were chasing her. When she wakes up, she decides to go to Emunah's territory to try and see if any of the wisps there, which are souls that Emunah's taking care of, to see if any of those wisps are her parents. But she has no such luck, so she breaks down, and Emunah finds her right in front of her home. And so she comforts her as much as she can. And after a while of comforting, Star has a new plan to work on bettering herself, physically and in some ways mentally, as much as she can. So she's gonna learn how to fight. So, I hope you all enjoyed. And for those of you that skipped the end, I'm honestly happy that you did, because that was very, very emotional for me to reread. And trust me, it was emotional for me to write. I had to take plenty of breaks during that just to make sure I was in a good headspace. So I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video. And if you want to follow me on Twitch, it'll be in the link in the description. If you want to subscribe on Patreon, it's also in the description. There's plenty of rewards there if you subscribe. I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!